Good afternoon and welcome to the International Powered Access Federation, or IPATH, Lift Safety Zone demonstration. Aerial work platforms are the safest means to place workers at heights, providing that the equipment is properly selected, that a trained operator is operating the equipment, that the equipment is properly maintained, and is supervised by a qualified personnel. One of the things that should begin any project and task is doing a risk assessment. And a risk assessment is done when you go to the job site and evaluate the job site conditions, and you identify potential hazards that are associated with the work to be done, and you can then put in place method statements to mitigate or eliminate the risk. Those are then communicated with all affected workers on the site, and then that is supervised for compliance. In this particular demonstration, we are going to have these poles. We simulate wood poles with electric lines going across them. We've identified with these that there is the potential hazard of power. And IPATH has created a very simple rule for an operator or user to follow. And that's that you shall maintain 30 feet from the power source plus the length of the fully extended boom on any wood pole. And if it were a steel pole with higher voltage cables on it, which could go up as high as 765,000 volts, you stay 50 feet away plus the length of the fully extended boom. In this particular case, we are showing a line that demarks the 30-foot dimension, which the operator can utilize to visualize where that point is in the scope of their travels. If the operator is additionally in a position where they need to work in close proximity to that 30-foot dimension, it allows them to do that, and the spotter can come over and make sure that they can observe it. So today we have our trained operator, and we know he's a trained operator because he has a powered access license. He's in a boom lift, so he's wearing a full body harness connected to the anchorage port defined by the manufacturer. He's done his risk assessment, and now he's ready to operate the equipment. In those cases, as I stated, we have our 30-foot safe distance away, and in the position where they needed to work in that proximity, you would have a spotter out in place to ensure that the operator did not penetrate the 30-foot safe zone. So in that position where they need to work 30 foot right above this line, he had the opportunity to do that. Ho, 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 stop. We have a very simple, safe rule for distance away from power lines on wood poles, and it is what? 30 feet plus the fully extended boom. In this particular case, you can see that the operator can actually continue the rotation of the boom and then penetrate into that 30-foot safe zone. That could put him and other people at risk. So as we have identified the boom that we're using, we have actually marked out the safe extended boom. So I'm going to ask our operator to drive the lift back into the green zone. That orange zone that we have in place is 19 foot 4 inches, which is the full extended distance of this boom. So again, our very simple rule, wood poles with power lines on them, 30 foot plus the distance of the fully extended boom. In this example, we're using a Genie Z3020, and in that particular unit has a fully extended boom length of 19 foot 4 inches. If we were using a different lift, similar to a Skyjack 46AJ that we have on site, that one has an extended boom of about 25 foot 5 inches. So that machine would actually have to move out further in order to, in any configuration of use, not penetrate into our 30-foot safe zone. This very simple rule allows the operator to perform all of his functions without thinking about where he needs to go and not putting himself and other people at risk by getting close to wires, that are in cables that are overhead, where generally they do not know what the power and voltage is in those lines to define the minimum approach distance. If they needed to work closer to that, they would need to have a qualified person identify the power source and other associated considerations for work within that proximity, and then define those for the operator. Take this rule with you. 30 foot plus the fully extended boom. Communicate that to any user or operator of aerial work platforms and make sure that they go home at the end of the day. So thank you and be safe.